Simply because your husband fixes his brother as the next of kin. You feel like your husband doesn't love you. You want to bring the whole roof down. You feel like you've been ostracized. You feel like this marriage is not what it should be. Or because your brother fixes his wife as the next of kin. You feel like your brother has been jinxed. This woman has taken control of everything about your family. You feel like this brother of yours is lost. Hold on. Calm down. Today we'll be discussing next of kin. Who is the next of kin? What are the duties of a next of kin and the qualities of a next of kin? Click on the subscribe button, like this video, put your comments on the comment section. Let's go there. Hello, my name is AI Ango. I'm a legal practitioner, a notary public, and a chartered arbitrator. Today we'll be discussing next of kin. Next of kin. Some people erroneously call it next of kin. It's not next of king, it's next of kin. Who is a next of kin? What are the duties of a next of kin? And who is qualified to be a next of kin? There have been so many battles, so many issues, so many crises in different families because of this next of kin. Some people mistakenly think that next of kin is the overall beneficiary of what the deceased has left. That is an erroneous thinking. That is a misconception. The law is very clear who is a next of kin. A next of kin, by law, is that person who is to be contacted in the event that anything happens to that person that appointed him as a next of kin. In a loose word, we will say next of kin is the carrier of bad news. What do we mean by that? If something untoward happens to the person that appointed you as next of kin, what he is saying is that you should be the first person to be contacted. For example, if Mr. A appoints his brother as next of kin, what that means is that in the event that Mr. A passes on or something happens to Mr. A, please call this my brother. He is the first person you will deliver the news to, and he knows where to go and tell. If in the event maybe Mr. A dies, he is saying, in the event I die, please call this my brother, tell him. He will go and tell my family. Sometimes when a man fixes his brother as the next of kin, it becomes a problem in his house. His wife feels as if the husband doesn't love her, he doesn't trust her, he has ostracized her, he has no say in the family. She's thinking if the man passes on, his brother will inherit everything he has left. No, madam, that is not it. Or if the husband put his wife as the next of kin, the relatives, they will call a village meeting and say, this man is jinxed, the wife has charmed him, he has made her the next of kin, everything now is in this woman's hand, nothing. That is a wrong misconception. That is a misconception that is very, very deadly and dangerous. This is what so many people have been carrying in their mind. A next of kin, most times, are not beneficiaries. However, there are some next of kin that can be beneficiaries. For example, a wife can be a next of kin and she is a beneficiary as well. A brother can be a next of kin and he is not a beneficiary. So we must understand that a next of kin is not necessarily a beneficiary of the deceased person. So, who is the next of kin? Like we earlier said, a next of kin is the carrier of bad news. Who is qualified to be a next of kin? Anybody that is of age, that is not a minor. A minor is anybody that is below the age of 18, can be a next of kin. And with that, you can appoint anybody to be your next of kin. What that means is that this is the person that should be contacted in the event something untoward happens to me. The next of kin, the duties of the next of kin is once he is contacted, he is to go and tell, for example, the bank that this man is no longer alive. That is all. He is to go to his place of work and say, this man is no longer alive. He is to go to his family and say, this man is no longer alive. That is all the duties of a next of kin. A next of kin is not necessarily a beneficiary. So stop feeling on top of the world because your brother appoints you as a next of kin. You have nothing to do with his property. Even the wife, if the husband appoints her as the next of kin, that does not mean he has given her everything he belongs. No. For her to even have access to any of his property, she must have a letter of administration from the court, from the probate division. So, you just being the next of kin does not confer you an authority to be the beneficiary of the deceased estate. So we must understand this, and we must take this thought off our mind. We must know and understand what the law is saying about the next of kin. Don't just feel as if you are on top of the world because your brother fixed you as the next of kin, or your husband makes you the next of kin, or your husband makes his son the next of kin. That does not mean he has given out everything to the next of kin. So a next of kin, like I earlier said, is the carrier of bad news. So just understand this concept very easily. There are times, especially when somebody dies without a will. In law, we said he died intestate. If someone dies without a will, then definitely for his property to be dissolved or to be devolved, there must be a letter of administration from the probate division of the court. The letter of administration is that letter that empowers the administrator or the administratrix to devolve the property of the deceased person. So without a letter of administration, nothing can be done, even with the next of kin. So if somebody dies with a will and leaves a will behind, that is even easier because everything will be in the will. Whatever he wants, however he wants his property to be divided or shared, will be captured in the will. So that will be easier for somebody. So, my dear friends, don't allow yourself to be deceived because you are next of kin. You feel you are the alpha and omega of the property of the deceased person. No. Just understand that you are a carrier of bad news. That is all about it. Don't just get mad. Get a lawyer, and these all things will be explained to you. Click on the subscribe button, click on the like button, share this video, and leave your comments or questions in the comment section, and we'll respond to it promptly. Thank you. See you next.